Good afternoon, everybody from beautiful Colorado. What an incredible day on the market today. Huge congratulations to everyone over at Team Dekmar. Sean Dekmar and the Dekmar team sliced and diced GNK up, Genco shipping like a surgeon today. Just beautiful work by Sean Dekmar. And three cheers. So, especially the whole team and everybody who profited off of that. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit more about very basic support and resistance. In the intro video you probably watched before this, we pulled up this chart for Sientra, S-I-E-N. It's no way an endorsement of the company, but it is a stock that I trade, especially swing trade. I mainly swing trade it. I don't tend to day trade it. It's a little bit lower volume for me. Tends to trade often under 100,000 shares a day. And so it's not necessarily something I day trade because it doesn't flow right for my day trading patterns. But we're going to use this to talk about support and resistance. And in the last video, we made our support and resistance lines here at 676 and 776. And it's been a few days or so since this video. It's probably been, 10 days or so. And we're going to use that. We're going to start with this chart, and then we're going to move on to GNK. We're going to talk about that. So basically, the next form of support that we're going to be talking about is moving average support and trend line support and resistance. So what you'll see on the chart are two lines, a yellow line and a red line. The yellow line is my 20 simple moving average. My 40 is the red lines, 40 simple moving average. I also use the 200 moving average. I tend to use the color blue for that, which tends to be a very common just color for people to use the 200. Those three tend to be the most common. They're what I use, and they're simple moving averages. So, but you will see at several points in the chart, Sientra begins riding the 20 is what it tends to be called. And in this case, it rides the 20 like a bike, all the way from June through August. That's another form of support, which is moving average support. So I want you on your charts to have a 20, a 40, and a 200. And you may gravitate on to other indicators on your charts from there, but I want you to just start with something and then start with those three. I don't use them because they're the best. I use them because they're what works for me. Other people use exponential moving averages like the 9 or the 13. They're called EMAs. You'll hear people talking about when a stock comes back to the 9 EMA or finds support on the 9 EMA. In this case, we're going to be talking about the 20 and 40, and I'm leaving the 200 off of this. But basically, you'll see all through the beginning of June here, it begins right in the 20. And as it begins into this channel, and this is a beautiful ascending channel, and this is something you want to look for if you're doing buy and hold investing. And what we're going to be talking about, not only with these moving averages support, but as trend line support. And that's something you're going to hear Sean Dekmar talk about almost every day in our day trades, our swing trades, whether they're shorts, whether they're longs. We talk a lot about trend line support, and I'm going to begin popping in some trend lines here. And so here at the beginning of June, we're going to start connecting on lows. And you may begin altering your trend lines, and you'll change them a little bit. They tend to stay fairly consistent, but sometimes I'll pop them up or down just barely to meet some lows. But you'll see we start moving some lows here. I'll probably move this up just a little bit. And we just barely breach the trend line a little bit here. Now this trend line is a support trend line. And so over these months, you'll see as it comes back to trend line or towards this trend line is where it gets bought up, and then it tends to go up. You can also make the top channel trend line, which is your resistance trend line. And this is what makes charts sexy. When we start calling easy calls on tops and bottoms here, that's when we have easy money. And this chart just becomes golden. Now look at that. Now we know when to sell if we want to sell, or when to be accumulating shares off the bottom. Maybe picking up 500 here, 500 here, 500 here, sell 15 here, pick up 5 again. However you want to play it, or maybe you just have 1,000 shares from on the third, fourth confirmation of this trend line. You picked up some shares here, you made this breakout, and then you rolled this bull pennant back into the trend line. What we have here, this formation here, is a bull pennant. Try not to move the mouse around too fast because I'm recording this on very low quality and the capture rate is very slow. But what we'll see here, and I'll try to do this slow, is we pump up here towards the top of the trend line, break it, come back. This is pump, dump, bounce, fade. And in this case, it's still a beautiful fade because this is a high and tight to the right bull pattern. But it comes back, hits our 20 moving average, gets a little pop, comes back again to the trend line. You'll see this little tail down here, punctures down to the 40. That's called a piercing spring. It pierces the 20, pierces the trend line, it pierces the support very briefly, and springs. That's a Japanese piercing spring pattern we'll talk about. So, and then we have another pump up here to the top of the pattern where we are right now. But so that is an example of how we use trend line support, trend line resistance. Now, I don't know if I can get enough time in this video to talk about GNK yet, so I may just stop this here and we'll start a new video where we are going to talk about our next form of support called Fibonacci support, and we use Fibonacci retracements for when we miss a big move and we still want to buy a stock, or we're shorting from the top and we want to know where it has the strongest possibility of bottoming out. That will be in the next video. I'm going to cut this into two. Stay tuned for GNK, Genco Shipping, and how Sean Dekmar led the team through absolute surgery on this stock today.